jeans. The dress code is sort of flexible, but everybody said, you're wearing a tie, you're wearing a tie. Nobody said, why are you wearing jeans? So it worked. If I ask for a minute on a timer, if everybody could please leave notes for Ramesh's speech on what you liked, what you thought he could do better, etc. Fear was a very good topic for him to have discussed today, considering that we need to nominate and vote on officers today for the club for the next 6 months. And the fear is palpable because as I'm talking, nobody's looking at me, except for Jim, but he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Nothing scares that man.
What?
I sent out emails over the last couple of weeks asking people to either volunteer or to nominate, and I received a couple of emails back. Unfortunately, I didn't receive 7. 7 is the magic number. 7 is the magic number.
Joel, we have
Yes.
a visitor here today who may not be aware of the different types of positions that are available with
I'm
them.
going to review them one last time before I either we accept volunteers or nominations.
Did you introduce the visitor?
No, I did not, because, yeah, we sort of started late. So, we have a guest. You were at the Career Day event, correct? Yes. All right, so if you please stand up, introduce yourself very briefly. I'm not going to put you on the spot and have you do a 5-minute speech or anything like that.
I'm Lita Irada. I work for CMB ITO, which is a testing organization. CMB is a consumer and mass business part of the organization, retail. And I'm a test designer on this organization.
And she's been here a brief, short 14 years. So there you go now.
I've been here 14 years.
Have you been here in this building, in this location, or?
No, I actually worked from home for 9 years, and then everybody was called, last year.
Oh, sorry about that. Oh.
But you've been 14 years here in Tampa.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Reporting to here, to Temple Terrace, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, excellent. Well, I'm glad.
Excellent.
We had a couple of other people last week who came last week. I emailed them again this week, and they weren't here. So hopefully we didn't scare them off too bad.
Holidays.
We'll give you a break though, because we aren't going to have meetings for the next 2 weeks because of Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, I won't be here either.
Okay, so the 7 officer positions we're looking for her to fill.
Her?
I'll be
No.
glad.
The 7 positions we're looking to fill that I went over last week are Sergeant at Arms. The role of Sergeant at Arms is basically responsible for setting up and taking down the meeting itself. That's really their primary function. They should also be introducing new guests as they show up, making them feel welcome, making sure that the podium's ready. If they're an employee, then they should also be making sure we have a room reserved, which that one should have been reserved. We'll deal with that later. And make sure we have a room reserved. If they are not an employee, then we need to make sure, that person needs to make sure that an employee makes the room reservations for them.
Joel, as
Yes.
long as you're talking about the position, now,
Yes.
is that it? Okay.
Yes.
So maybe we should now talk about who, since you've done an excellent job of describing it, should we talk about who shall fill that position for the following, I'm sorry, is it 6 months?
6 months, correct.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for volunteering. Everybody in favor of Jim? I'm kidding. So when it comes to the position of Sergeant at Arms, was there anybody that was interested in volunteering for the position?
Who is our Sergeant at Arms right now?
Currently it is Eric. Eric cannot be here today. Eric is also a Coca-Cola employee.
That is true.
As opposed to a Verizon employee. So ideally, somebody who works here in the building, it's best suited to them, or if you work outside the building, but you've got flexibility in your lunch schedule.
Gotcha. And it's a great starting position, is that correct?
Absolutely.
So
It's a great way to get your feet
What
wet,
kind of
Tim.
experience would you need to have to take that position?
Years and years of no experience necessarily
Really?
required. Yes. So
How about strong muscles?
No.
yes, that helps. So if you are going to the gym, you do have to carry this
It's very heavy.
heavy
And what
podium
about the
around.
lights?
What? Oh, those,
Operating
you also have to be able
lights?
to resist electricity.
Yeah.
And only awesome people can do that. It takes a certain level of awesomeness. That actually should be the new title. Instead of Sergeant at Arms, should be Sergeant of Awesomeness, don't you all think?
I mean, having a room ready is pretty awesome.
Exactly. So Tim, can we interest you in being Sergeant at Arms for our club for the next 6 months?
Excellent.
That's amazing. That just sort of fell together.
Wow.
I don't know how that happened.
Your VLDP manager is gonna be really happy.
Isn't she?
She's
Yes.
so happy.
Imagine that.
How would he have reacted if she wasn't sitting next to him?
So the next position is secretary. Now, we actually had somebody volunteer for this position already, but if anybody else is interested in it, please say so now. Eric was interested in being secretary for the club. The main role of secretary is really as correspondence for the club, ideally making sure the agendas are out there, working with the VP of Public Relations, which is another position we'll get to, the VP of Education, the president, etc., when it comes to any sort of, helping with any sort of communication as well as documentation of records. So whether it's signing up of new members, whether it's making sure there's flyers or emails going out, trying to hook us up on websites or dealing with the club website, those things would all fall under the secretary's position. So is everybody in favor of Eric? Let me jump, I guess, to the next two that we already have volunteers for, and then I'll hit this other position. So the next one is VP of Public Relations, VP of PR, which is currently Bob. Shatish expressed an interest in that position, and PR is exactly what it sounds like, getting the word out there about the club. Not necessarily driving membership like the VP of Membership is responsible for, but really getting the PR out there. And if we host an event, or if we're going to have an event, whether it's our own club humorous contest or international speech contest, if there's other clubs, say for our area, that want to meet here, helping promote that, as well as promoting our club outside, again, whether it's on websites, whether it's trying to get us to volunteer for an event, etc. That is the role of VP of PR, which Satish has volunteered for.
Excellent, I think.
Perfect.
The next one is VP of Membership. I've mentioned that one a couple times, and that job is exactly what it sounds like. It's to try and increase our membership, get new people to sign up. Janice Warrington has volunteered for that position. Considering the fact that she is a director here in this building and was one of the people critical in the Career Day event, I think she's an excellent person for this position.
And I seem to recall that Vice President, within the world of Toastmasters, isn't Vice President of Membership like number 2 or number 3 in the pecking order?
It's number 3.
So it's a number 3?
It's number 3.
It's like the President of the House of Representatives or something like that in the whole secession thing.
Well, okay, maybe not. Okay, so the next position that we have nobody volunteer for at this time and no nominations for is treasurer. The treasurer role, really, there's...
Okay, so that's... Hey, Arnie, aren't you our treasurer?
He's currently our treasurer.
Are you stepping aside, or are you willing to serve in that role one more time?
I will, however,
Okay.
if anybody else really wants it.
Gotcha. And it is massive amounts of money, if I recall correctly. We are sitting on a stockpile that you could get from like here to Gainesville, maybe?
Phil, didn't you say there was some limit on the term? Is there a term limit?
I don't think so.
No, not in Toastmasters.
There's no term
The
limit.
only term
Toastmasters is just happy to have you.
President.
Is president. Technically is president. You're not supposed to serve more than 2 consecutive terms. Ideally, yes, treasurer is something that should be gone through on not have one person treasurer for a long period of time to avoid the appearance of any...
Our club rule is
Investment.
less than a decade.
Okay.
Is our rule. And we're pretty...
I'll stay as a treasurer.
Awesome.
Yay!
All right, which leaves us 2 key roles, which is the number 2 and number 1 positions in the club. Currently, Dawn is our VP of Education. The VP of Education is responsible for the program itself, making sure that everybody's advancing, making sure they have the information they need, promoting opportunities, whether it's hand in hand with the VP of PR as far as contests, because those are things that work towards your leadership responsibilities, as well as making sure that you're advancing the program, which she has done with the chart that she had done up.
She's done a nice job.
The VP of Education is considered the number 2 spot in the club. The reason that is of significance is, as a club, we are not just an island, an ocean of no other public speakers. We are one club in our area of 5 or 6 clubs. Our area is one of 5 or 6 or 7 within our division, which is one of 7 or 8 within our district. So the VP of Education as well as the president are the 2 voting members of our club representing us outside of our club in one of these other levels. So that has that added responsibility as well as added opportunity, honestly. So currently, Dawn is our VP of Education. I didn't know if you were interested in staying on, or if you were interested in president, or if anybody else was interested in VPE at this
I would
point.
like to, in all honesty, I'd like to nominate Don for president, and it could be a little, no, wait a minute. It could seem a little scary, but it's not intended to be scary at all. And for those who have been presidents, I think they could speak up and say, being president of this particular Toastmasters Club is not that big of a deal, and it's actually probably less effort than the vice
I
president
would
of member
never
says.
say that.
I actually would. I would. No, because really, in all honesty, it's a matter of working with the people, because you don't really have that much of a job when you're president. You're really managing, hold on, you're managing the people who actually do the work.
Have you been the president for
I have. I actually been the president for a long time when we were in the doldrums a long time ago. But yeah, so.
Things have changed, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, Dawn, it is significant amount of
It
work.
is.
It is. But it is so much fun. It's the most fun. It's the most fun position.
It looks good on a resume.
I think it's
It does
almost
look good.
better
It does
than
look-
being area governor, which was really, really fun. So being president is really
Fun
great.
equals hard, right?
Joel will be a good president.
I have been-
He's been.
He's
And the thought is that we
Pretty
would.
much everyone here has been president.
Right. And by the way, since everyone's been president, everyone's here to support you. It's not like
Right.
you're like, oh my gosh, I'm standing by myself. Really, you're stepping into the position, and you've got like 6 people who've done it before who
We
know.
will all help
Yeah,
you
it's not that big of a deal.
Would that be the same people who never respond to any of my
Yes.
emails?
Yes. It actually would be the same people. To
Being
be real
us
clear on that.
well, you know us well.
That's part of the training.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trust me, we've all been there. Yeah.
It goes
So-
down into the black hole.
So Don, I don't want to put you in a situation where you'd be uncomfortable by any stretch. You've done a fantastic job, and we do greatly appreciate what you've done with membership. Would you be willing to give?
Education.
I'm sorry, whatever. Would you be willing to give President a shot? And once again, it's only 6 months. It's not that long of a.
Well, here's my concern. If I end up going back to work, then it's possible that
We'll-
I would not be able
We'll roll
to
with it.
attend.
We'll roll with it. Okay. If that's
meetings.
things always change for everybody.
Joe's had some similar issues.
Like I've been retired for a while, and I understand that. But things can change, and if it do change, then what we'll do is we'll revisit it. And if somebody needs to step into the role, we'll have somebody else step into the role. That's not a problem whatsoever.
We're pretty flexible.
Yeah, really. It's not like we're gonna have something.
Yeah, the thing is this, it is so much fun to be the president because you could come up with a whole new thing, you could really
Right.
revitalize.
And we appreciate the
innovate.
creativity you've brought
We-
to the job that you've
We
had.
are just like, okay, that sounds good, Don, let's try it. I mean, we're up for anything with Janice and your team. I mean, Tim and Janice, Bob, right?
Bob's not on the team.
Who is
He was
that?
VP of PR.
Okay.
So if Bob is willing to be VP of Education and Dawn is willing to be president, we've got our slate full, guys.
There you go. What do you think,
What'd you say,
Bob?
Bob?
I was just telling him, I actually wanted to stay out of offices for the next term and focus on my 2 CC and CL. I mean, I don't feel I can do it justice, so honestly, if we can
Getting
get
wiggly.
someone else to...
Okay.
Getting wiggly.
What about Bill?
Bill.
I think I need to save up my energy for the VP of marketing down the road at PR because I could
Oh,
really
yeah?
do a good job at that. So I just need to bottle this up for a
Maybe we
while.
could trade off with that.
Well, then
No.
that always brings up the
Do not
interesting.
volunteer Russ.
That's always brings up an interesting
Russ is very
question
busy.
around Catherine. Just because it's an opportunity that's floating there, Catherine. Once again, it's only if you'd be comfortable with it or something like that. Would that be something that you would be interested in helping us out with? It's.
Not at this moment, but I'll consider for the future.
Oh, look at that! Look how she did that.
Whoa, that was a good
It
answer.
touched, and it moved on.
What are you doing,
Well,
Russ?
and
Ross, you willing to
is
step up for us?
I'm not gonna let Russ run for anything.
Why?
This is a co-host decision. Russ is extraordinarily busy, you
I'm
guys.
saying yes.
Yeah, no. Don't hold Russ back. We want Russ just to be a
Who's
successful.
got here that would make a good president?
oh,
Yeah.
that finally came up. I was wondering who was going to.
Okay. So
Did someone volunteer?
are
No.
we all good with Dawn running for
Oh
president?
yeah.
Dawn, what do you
I don't
think?
know.
Come on,
Don't,
Dawn.
hey,
it's
she already
so
basically
fun.
accepted. You don't need
It's
to
so
retread
fun,
that.
Dawn.
It's so fun. Huh?
I'm gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Let's give it to Kieran Patel.
Yeah.
No, Karen Patel was already our president.
No, stop. The president is taken care of. Dawn seems to be willing to do this, so let's drop that one. I think the issue is vice president of membership.
Vice President of Education.
I'm sorry, vice president of education. We just need a volunteer for that. I think I was
Before.
And so we'd love to have you
But
step
there's
in.
gotta be some people that aren't here that would, you know, that need
Yeah,
the
who is in
challenge
here? Who is the list?
office.
I can't pull it up on my phone, so.
Eric might want to.
Well, Eric's
No,
already doing
Eric-
something. We already got Eric.
I think I should have volunteered
He
for
meant
secretary.
TW.
You got your membership?
Well, that or we need somebody else to be treasurer,
So,
Arnie
so
could be
hey,
in
actually, here's an
education.
interesting question, and I apologize. I do not mean to be impolite but I apologize. I don't know her name. We've had a young Indian lady who's been showing up at.
Priyanka?
Priyanka.
Would
Yeah,
she be a?
she speaks really good English. I think I might have her on text.
So could we perhaps do a temporary nomination of her?
She probably would love to do
Arnie has
education.
the list right there.
Yeah.
Arnie, do you have a master list? But anyway, back to Priyanka. It would, unless if all we need is one more name, and if we believe that she is a potential candidate, unless somebody
Absolutely.
knows some reason why she would potentially say no, could we perhaps pencil her in and then cycle back with her and see if she's?
As president?
No.
No, your name is already.
Yeah, no. Vice President of Education, which is the only position that's still open.
Correct.
VP Education. So she'd actually be taking over, I believe, for you, which would be a fantastic candidate.
Oh, Sean.
Yeah,
My
what about
goodness.
Sean?
Sean Rhodes would be an excellent
That's true.
What does he want to do?
well, he's suggesting for VP of Education,
Okay,
correct?
that's cool.
Well, maybe he wants to be president.
No. Sean's got some stuff going on right now that probably doesn't allow him to do that. But yeah, no, Sean for Vice President of
How do you
Education.
know what I have going on?
And I'll tell you what. Because I talked to your son. Anyway, we could. How about if we go with Sean as Vice President of Education, and if for whatever reason that doesn't work out, we use Priyanka as the backup.
Sure.
Does that sound like an acceptable sort of?
I can vote for that.
And by the way, for everybody who's here, a very clear indication that you really don't want to be skipping meetings
Yeah.
around,
Ever.
club officer nomination time, because this is the kind of stuff that happens. Okay, you come back and you go, what?
I know, but like I said.
So the slate of officers as it stands
Here it goes.
is Tim, Sergeant at Arms, Eric, Secretary, Arnie, Treasurer, Satish is Vice President of Public Relations, Janice, VP of Membership, Sean is VP of Education, and Dawn is President.
Seconded. Discussion. Any discussion?
We've done that.
Okay, then we need to have you call for a vote.
I call for a vote. Do we have
All
the slate
in
of
favor,
officers?
say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay.
Nay.
Oh yeah, who cares? You're in. And then anybody abstaining? Mr.
Yeah.
Guy running the meeting.
Motion carries. Member slate of officers.
Woo! 2014, here we come.
I can sit down here.
And I'll go try
concentrate.
entering those online after
I
the
don't
meeting.
know.
So at this point, I would like to call up our table topics master, Bill.
Ooh.